All right, hello everybody. It's a pretty interesting episode of the podcast today. I never talked to anybody directly that's actually made the mice that we talk so much about. But today we are doing a very exciting episode because we've had both Kevin and Don here from Orbital, and they are releasing in a day from this recording a brand new mouse which pushes the envelope in a very new way. And I don't know if anyone would have expected this from a completely new company. Maybe you'd be thinking, Final Mouse or another company that tends to do all this innovation. But guys, you must be so excited. You are releasing the Pathfinder very shortly. But before we get into all of that, I'd love to get an introduction of both of your backgrounds so people can kind of understand, how you came to this, to this place right now that you're at.
Right. I'm Don. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Orbital Works. And
And I'm Kevin. I'm also co-founder and also design engineer and principal designer.
yes, my background is in IT and programming. And for him, it is
For me, I doing mechanical engineering and some robotics engineering and can do some Blender. That's it.
yes. I think we could call ourselves like gamer first, student seconds back in college day. At least for me, I played a lot of CS and I got kicked out of the university once because I played too many CS and I didn't succeed or become a pro player. So that is on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you were in robotics and you made a exoskeleton
Yeah.
that play Counter Strike.
Yeah. So yeah, during my master, I doing some exoskeleton things, and during the meantime, I still playing some games. So I make it move the cursor, the crosshair in a Counter Strike, and like shooting. So yeah, this is always my passion, like
Yes.
gamings.
Yeah. So we met each other. We were like the whole team together. We were making some exoskeletons
Yeah,
for
some
for aerospace and some other companies. But then the pandemic hits. So all those things it stopped.
I would say like the pandemic accelerate the
Yeah,
process
accelerate the
actually.
process that okay, we got stuck at home. We think that the product we were doing didn't have much of a leeway
Yeah,
in terms of actual usage. So we were stuck at home and we start thinking about what should we do? We should do something that is our passion.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think for you especially when you started this thing with the lockdown, you start
yeah.
upgrading
Yes.
everything.
Like after lockdown, but we still have to work, right?
Yeah.
And we have to
Really?
work from home. And what I did is like, yeah, I hurt my back. Then I brought like a
Yeah.
really decent chair, and then I blame my days. And because during that time I play Apex and with my friends, and that is also the time when the custom keyboard starting to bloom, and
Hmm.
I get into it. I'm one of the, yeah,
Like a wooding
like that time is like a glorious era.
yeah.
So yeah, like, and I get into it, and I like feel like yeah, I spend too much money
Yeah,
on
it's not funny,
thing
but
that's around us.
yeah, but it is kind of like worth it and fulfilling in a way
Yep,
because I think
yes,
like in an older generation you would be tuning your car and tuning your car or maybe doing something about your hi-fi,
yep,
right? But I think in this generation is about the things that orbit your digital
yep,
life. And that's part of the name of Orbital. We
yep,
want to do things that we start to think about doing things that orbit your digital life.
yep.
So we started with that and then we decided to look into gaming because we have a passion in gaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So a lot of influencer like inspire us a lot at that
Yeah.
time, like Optimum Text, like that the thing that he
I think in different
revealing.
ways. I
And
think in different ways. I think Optimum Tech teach you that you can have like a beautiful
yeah,
space to play and work in.
yeah,
And I think for like Rocket Jump Ninja,
Rocket Jump
it's
Ninja,
about like
yes,
having choosing the right peripheral for yourself.
like get into his website, like input in some like width and the length of the hands, and like find which mouse should I use. And yeah.
Yeah, so we did. So that's the beginning. So we decided to do something that it surrounds us, and actually we started looking at a keyboard.
Yes,
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah,
But there was one part
yeah,
that got you thinking about mouse, right?
yeah. So during that time I play a lot of Apex, and
Watching a
also
little bit of Truth as well.
yes, Truth Gaming and other pro player, ASU and others. And at that time I using like palm grip, using like a ergo mouse. All right, just only ergo mouse. But But when we actually like thinking about, yeah, we want to do something that we really like around us, like this thing in front of the decks, and then we asking our friends, our colleagues, and also someone who are decent like level at gamings. But the more we talk, we feel like, yeah,
Yeah, people tend toward like leaning toward mice. But I think your personal
yeah,
experience. Tell me about your
yeah, yeah,
personal
yeah, yeah.
experience.
I think I remember that's the time when, because when you get into the game, there will be a time when you discover like at that time I used G42403. It's like the ergo shape with the wired version. I I saw a lot of review and like just changing to like the wireless, just spending a lot of money, just using the same mouse without the cable. That's or already like make me change a lot. And also like I changed to other ergo shape mouse like data adders and Goris model D, I think, and D minus. And when I change it, like before I talk to someone else, the problem is on my side. I thought like maybe something wrong with like my skill, or maybe I have like not too, yeah, not enough sleep or whatever. It's affect my gameplay. But though when we talk to a lot of people and we found like, yeah,
The more you play, you find that the
the
mice
mouse
actually affect your gameplay
yeah,
more, especially the shape.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's more impact on your gameplay
yes,
other than keyboards or anything else. Yeah.
yes.
So that's how we starting to dig deep into the
The
mouse.
design of gaming mouse.
Yeah.
Why does one mouse makes you play better? Why does one mouse make you
Yeah.
play worse? I think that's what got me started. Yes.
Is yeah,
Yeah.
that's what stuff.
I love that. I mean, there's so much really cool stuff to talk about, but just like that concept, just the mouse impacting how well you play. I
Yeah.
love that you guys worked with some of the aim trainer players, because I having been, I've been in FPS esports since like 2003, like competing, and I've over many years like been an expert at FPS games playing them, but I never really understood like really all that well how the mouse was or wasn't helping me. And it wasn't until I got into the aim training community and I started to learn like more about just all of the how you can quantify aim itself, and then understanding how does the shape itself then relate to the different like categories of aiming, the ways that we can break down and quantify aiming. And then from having that framework, you can start to begin to work out, okay, now I can kind of figure out, okay, well, if I have a bit more stability on these different sensitivities or frictions, like you can start to really put the pieces together. But even still, it's very difficult, and you need a lot of experimentation and testing. And it's definitely an individual experience. Everyone has different physiology, which is obviously part of the premise of this.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to so many of the aim training players who are expert coaches, and they have the best sense of this. I think they have the best understanding of how these things really impact things. I saw that you guys were talking with Viscose and Mini, and like working with them directly. So I can't wait to hear about those experiences. In fact, we could just go into that right now if you'd like to, or unless you'd like to go into sort of your sense of first why. Like, how did you come about? We need a modular mouse, like because it sounds like this is what you're kind of leading into, and so how did that whole process come about? Because you're entering a market that's actually highly saturated, and it has a lot of very strong competitors, and so
Yes.
yeah, let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah, let's get to the prequel before we send a
Prequel.
cold email to Viscose. And
Yes.
okay, so in the beginning, when we decided to make the mouse,
Yeah.
we invited we invited the best pro players in the local neighborhood, so to
Yeah.
speak. So it is like the 90s movie when you like get the boys
Yeah.
together.
Come together.
Yeah,
Come to the
we
office.
posted on Facebook. We posted on Facebook.
And also, I think during that time we started to see a lot of mouse reviewer, all the
we
people
look at
involved
more people
this.
like Botsy and stuff,
Yeah.
and also I think and Fresh and many other people,
Yeah.
Jake. So but the thing that happened to us is we post on Facebook like normal, not weird people. That if you are a good gamer, if you like
Certain rank.
yeah, certain
in
rank, if you are
something.
like a diamond, no, not diamond, I'm immortal in
Yeah.
Valorant. If
And
you
master.
are master
At least master
it-
in Apex.
in Apex and you are in a pro league, come to our office. We will give you some biscuit and money to play gaming. And bring your mouse. So people come.
And also at that time we when we start to get a crew on like, yeah, mouse is something really different. and really important, we just brought
But
most of the
we
mouse in
bought
the
more
market.
of the flagships and
Yeah.
we try it ourselves. And yes, there's a difference. But so like you said, so many aimers they have such great sense on what makes people tick in terms of shape. But for us, I think it takes longer. So we get these pro players together. We sit with them. We let them try to explain why they like this mouse or that mouse. And I think the key thing is when we started recording them.
Yeah.
So because like when you try like a mouse shape, you normally if you go to a shop, you just palm this
you
or
gotta paste it.
and then like move it around, but it's not like in game.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes you can like 3D print a shape and then you can like, oh, maybe it fits my palm, but it's all quite kind of very in a broad sense, right? So what we did is that we asked them to come and we start scanning the hands.
Yeah.
Like when they grab the mouse, like from the bottom.
Yeah, we let them doing like this posture and put it on the scanner and just scan 2D scan of how they place their finger, like at that point. And at the beginning, we don't have no clue about how mouse shapes
Will
impact on the
impact the
gameplay.
gameplay.
And we kind of like still like understanding about which feature, which part of the mouse contribute to better gameplay.
Because we asked and then they say, I like the side of the death adder, but somehow I don't like the hump of the death adder. I would like to have a death adder with but that is not the start of the modular. I think the start of the modular is we understand shape is important. Shape is king, to quote Ajahn.
Yeah.
And but when we look into this hand scans, when we look into the grab and how they grip their mouse and how they actually move their fingers, they have this micro adjustment when they play. We came to a conclusion that there is no perfect shape for everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's the
what we see is like we get like around 10 people playing with their favorite mouse. We see why they prefer that mouse and we see how they use it in game, and we see a lot of factor like just imagine in Apex we have one player are really good at using like a sniper, like sentinel longbow things. The behavior when you really look closely to how they move the mouse, and for someone who use like a really close combat R99 massive shotguns, the way that they move the mouse is totally different. And we think about, if we want to make the mouse for 10 people,
there's no like we cannot go for average shape. Maybe we can, but I think
but they're not gonna like it.
Or like they don't know another way, right? And we think that maybe if we build it to let them optimize it on themselves, this can bring them like more efficiency, more than like sensors and stuff. Because I think in the end, one thing about the mouse and the shape is that it's just an interface to the game, right? So you have to trust in that interface. It's like goes in the show kind of thing. But you have to trust in the interface, and when you trust in the interface, it disappears. You only the mouse only disappears into your hand, not because it is light or because it's a great sensor, but when it feels like it's not there. So
like when you flick the mouse move to exactly where you want it to go. And
so we think, okay, maybe the best shape is one that they define it themselves, that they explore to find. Because we talk to these guys and they say, okay, I have changed like 5 or 6 mice or 10 mice already. So okay, number one, that means that maybe the grip is not static. A grip it may not be a static thing, and that there might be like, and they're looking for like this unknown thing that they are trying to explore to find the shape that fits not just the hand size, but also the play style.
And what we see, like from the more we get the test subject, the test pilot, I think reaching about 10 people, 10 gamers, and we put all the hand scan in the PowerPoint, and we see, wait a minute, I think we found some pattern, and somehow I cannot find it in the
we
internet.
cannot find reference on this pattern. It's not like a mysterious pattern, but it's how you place your fingers. I think that's because we look at like mouse in like recommendations, but there's no like no recommendation for like, what if you place your finger this way or that way.
It's really subjective, and when people recall that in the internet, they might rephrase that like pincer claw things. But what we clearly see is like there's some pattern. It's not like a well distributed finger placement. It's like can divide into like for us it's three group of people who grip this style. There are some other style
What are the styles?
like 1-3-1 style of gripping,
No, I mean like
this.
the general style that we
Oh,
found the
okay.
three.
The tree is like the one is like kind of grip with the ring and finger like frontal to the mouse, front to the mouse. The other is like the center of the mouse, and then the other like just tilted the pinky and like
Like
hook
really
to the mouse.
dig deep into it. So
Yeah.
so yeah, they have like three areas, and also like they have like a preferred freedom of movement.
Yes.
Yes. So for some people, if there's a groove or something, they're really locked in and they do it really well. But for some people, they want like flatter space.
Yeah.
I think like Maddie, for example,
also-
when we look at Maddie,
Yeah.
he likes that G Pro because
Yeah.
they give him this finger freedom.
Yeah, like the game that require you to do a lot of tracking, like gliding, like a lot of So
Yeah. So
choose
that's
different-
that's the principle. That's the
Yeah.
starting point. So we start to make grips. It's to much start to make shapes.
Yeah.
That works with like this that style, that style, that style, and how to make it interchangeable so you can test it with different
Yeah.
people. So we have to think
Uh,
maybe we need to make it modular.
Yeah.
And then
Like at that time we just like found like, yeah, this is the people, the gamer grip style. This is what they want for their mouse, and we ask ourselves like, what does it take to make the ultimate mouse? We ask this question, and there are a lot of solutions. Like in the market, maybe if you're a really big company, you have like a flagship models. If you divide more SKU, more shape on that, you can supply that to the customer as well. Or someone who have like a Solvi mouse, they provide you like the kits to try on. But yeah, the more we research, the more we think like I think I still remember the question that I asked our chief engineers, like Kryptonite, do you think that like somehow why don't we have like a modular fine tunable mouse that
like
kind of
like a bike, like a bike, right? Like a bike.
like anything in the world, like
When you go pro, you have a
yes you must have some custom feature or some specific feature that is not supposed to be in the general model of goods. So
yeah, but this is like getting a bit like dragging the prequel a bit long. Like this is the Battle of Five Armies.
yes.
So okay. So we make the prototypes. We make the prototypes, and we tested it with the gamers here first,
Yeah.
and we were like wondering ourselves if it works or not until we talked to this one guy in Thailand. His name is NMC. He has good channels. I will send it to you later. Very good photographic quality and stuff. So he tried it and he said that this has potential.
Yeah.
Do go on. So yeah, I think
I can show you the model.
I can show you the model that we
Awesome,
shared.
yeah,
with
yeah.
the
Yeah, this one is like a really rough prototype, as you can see. At that time, this is like a non-aesthetic thing, but
And-
we want to figure out which part of the mouse that affect how.
which part of modularity that
Yeah.
has effect on your gameplay.
Like at that time, the side shapes can move forward and backward on that model, and also the hum can raise higher or lower
yeah,
on
but
that model.
yeah, but also when we talk to people who play FPS, they want a lighter mice. So a lot of that we have to make the choice whether okay, if this
Yeah.
modularity doesn't give enough benefit, we may have to pare it down in order to achieve a system that is lightweight,
Yeah.
that is modular, and most importantly, it needs to have no tool in order to change. Because the moment you have tool, people think twice before
Yeah,
changing.
it's-
If you have to like reach for like a screwdriver
Yeah.
or like some like with a magnet, it takes time.
Yeah.
And we don't want that. We want people to be able to change during matches. When you die, you are like, okay, let me change the shape. You need to be able to do that.
You blame the shape
You
now.
need to encourage it to explore. I think that's the thing. And once we have kind of that, we started sending like emails to
Yes.
to Mini, to Struth. No, Mini Viscose recommended to us, but like Mini Viscose and say and tell to them we are trying to build a mouse with the best shape that you can tune yourself. Would you be interested? And then they kindly responded.
Yeah.
And we sent these prototypes to them, and they did really help a lot in because a lot of things we are not pros, right? We are good gamers. I'm a failed pro wannabe, but
still suffering in
still
the
suffering
C
in that sense. So that's why I'm
yeah.
making a mice. But a lot of it is crucial decision. You have it in your mind, right? Whether you should do or not until this guy says so. So for example, I can give you an example of
Like
Struth.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think viscose is also better because easier to understand. Is that we actually the mouse was a bit wider.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then as you know, she likes the OP1 because it's quite a very narrow mouse and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
so we were thinking about like maybe when we do this modularity, there was like the big size that's a bit too big.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit too big, and then
What
the
is too big?
small,
What is too
and
small?
then the too small
Yeah.
feels a bit too big.
Yeah.
So we were thinking, should we make it smaller?
Yeah.
And then we were talking to her, and then she pointed out why it should be smaller. And
Yeah.
it was like it gels with what we have in our mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
So yeah.
yeah, the
So
more
make the decision to change, and she tried, and she liked it more.
mm,
And that's the thing. And I think 3D printing really help a lot. So we can like ship new prototype or whatever instead
yeah.
of like making a mold. So that's like the example of viscose. I think for Struth is a bit more difficult for him
Yeah.
because we are trying to make like really good side shapes.
Yeah.
So
For the shapes, let me show you some of the
yeah,
shapes.
and
Okay.
that's one that Struth spent so much
Yeah.
time helping us.
Like for this each shape of that, like when we design it, this is like passed through like I think tens of even 30 version of itself. Like did mean by like the position, the height of the curve and everything. We iterate every possible angle and everything. When we finalize the design, this is what we do. Like Strut. Like we ask the person that prefer this kind of shapes, that this category, we let those people decide.
It's kind of like a police lineup.
Yeah.
They're trying the shapes and they pick the one they like,
Yeah.
and we see if it gels with what if us or with other gamers.
Yeah.
Because we have like we have gamers in the office as
Yeah.
well, so we just keep trying it ourselves
And
as
then
well.
and then the last piece, like the one that we selected is like the one that have like objectively good. Like
Yes.
everyone who prefer this kind of shape will
Will
like this one.
Yes.
So that's how we refine
Yes.
like all the shapes in the box with like the pros.
Yes,
Yeah.
but for some people, they try to make it difficult by themselves, like Struth. Like
It-
for example, the claw.
Yeah. This is from Sturz. Let me show.
Yeah.
I just get his claw mate
So
like
yeah,
in the
we
morning and
decided.
just trying to
But when we did made the claw, Struth asked us to help him choose
like
by making
that's this angle and this side angle and this angle. We iterate like I think it's 14, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and each of angle 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like
yeah. So
16
he has
each
like a
left
whole
and right.
bag of 3D printed parts that we
Yeah.
sent it to him.
And
I
we-
don't know if he threw it away already.
And somehow like most of the people they will pick the same one.
Yeah.
There's some sweet spot
Yeah.
in the shape.
Yeah, there's
so
some sweet spot in the
that's
shape.
how we select the shape.
So that's how we select the shapes and we try to make the collection. And also I think I think Mini also was telling us make it even lower. For example, this is another important thing. He told us to make it lower. And also in the final collection, we talked to both Maddie and Viscose, for example, Jake as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a lot of input, and we are very glad that a lot of the input it's mesh with what we think.
Yeah. Because I think this is such a open question for us. Like if we make the modular mouse, like if we want to make the best mouse, which shape that you should explore?
Yeah.
Like how can we curate that shape into the box?
Yeah, because we have like team B of shapes as well that didn't pass this selection, and we'll probably pick some of them make them available for 3D printing.
Yeah.
So people to try because there are some shapes that people ask for as well.
Yeah.
Like a very wide side. We do have that.
Like at the beginning,
Like,
I remember we brought the MM720 from
Cooler
Cooler Master.
Yeah.
Like the really width and very short mouse, and someone like it, but not many like it, so it not passed to this spot. But and also some of them is like having a thumb rest like on a mouse, like a G502 or something. Like
Yeah.
that's one. Some people like it, but
Yeah,
not
but
many like it.
the philosophy we use in the end is like it's a box of chocolate,
Oh, yeah.
right? So normally you have like this box of chocolate that you have over Christmas, and there's some flavors you don't like, and you leave it until after
Chocolate
Christmas,
mint.
and you give it to neighbors you don't
Right.
like or something. But but this one we want every piece to be tasty.
Yeah. So
So one thing that strikes me straight away is, obviously you're trying to design the mouse that I mean I think could save people thousands of dollars because I feel like it's what just
yeah.
like you say, you can make it how you want it to be, and there's so many mice that come out, and it seems to be like you're describing with Matty, where like the GPX is described as like, oh, this is a safe shape because we feel like everyone's going to kind of like it. But the problem with the safe shape is it's like a there's lots of chairs that are ergonomically designed, but you need to still have customization because everyone's like everyone's different at the same time, and so the safe shape, although it can kind of feel just comfortable for everybody, it's not going to be perfect. And so
Yeah.
I mean that first of all is really interesting because the value for money there is amazing. I'm sure we can talk about how you guys decided that later on, but I wanted to talk about the build quality in the sense of when you have something that's so modular. What was the process for you guys to be like, okay, well, we want this to feel like a premium mouse? And in my head, I'm thinking, well, if you're swapping in pieces like constantly, is there going to be how did you handle that issue exactly? Because I'm sure that must have been quite tricky to figure out.
I think broadly there are two things that we look at. I think number one is the mechanism. How do we make the mechanism that is robust, that is precise, that is satisfying to use because you need to have fun changing the shapes. And I think the second thing is how we design things that is almost always ready for production. Because
Mhm.
because when we do 3D printing, there's bound to be some low fidelity out
Yeah.
of the 3D printing. But you need to always keep your eyes on like how to make it manufacturable.
Yeah.
Like how to make it possible to do it in a mold where it is much more precise and
Yeah.
everything will be seamless. Because a lot of these things, if you design it just for 3D printing, it cannot be made into a mold.
Like
And then you get stuck
yeah.
at the dead end.
From 3D printing to like injection molding, there's like a huge difference. You have to think a lot for like how the machine will jam and then
And then
inject the
shoot the
plastic, and you have to
plastic.
think a lot of things.
Yeah.
And
But the first thing is mechanism, I think.
okay, yeah, let's try. Yeah, the reason like yeah, when okay, yeah, now you see it. Okay, this is the mechanism. Even this is like the normal 3D printing. I
This
think
is the mouse that I use. It's really big.
yes. Yeah, like this. So just like we try a lot of mechanisms,
Magnets.
and most of
Snap
people
on.
will think about the magnet, but
Almost snap on.
yeah, it's just snap on. And just imagine like this part, we optimize to the point that this one weighs around 1 gram. The chips, 1 gram. If we add just a tiny magnet,
It's
and
2
also
grams
the
already.
other side of the magnet have to be some like maybe faster and like really small one, the weight of that is already like half the gram or even more.
Mm.
So we try that and we cannot do that. And because if we use the magnet, you cannot add the spacer, you cannot stop at a different point. It just like stuck
Because
in.
size is also important.
Yeah. And that's why instead of you might see like there's other modular mouse in the market in the past, and they seem to just swap the shape, right? But if we can just swap the shapes, we cannot accommodate the size different from the user hands.
Yeah.
And that's why we think we need both, like the size and the shape have to like
Yes.
fit together.
So that and also it has to be
Yeah.
tough.
And also this one, as you can see, there's spring inside. This is not like we didn't create like a high stress on the plastic piece to make it deform or something. So this like sliding like this will really durable. Like
All the load is on the spring.
Yeah.
All the load is on the spring,
Yeah.
not on the plastic piece.
The
So it's not
moving part.
grinding each other.
yeah, the
It
moving
just
part.
locks.
Yes. And to be honest, like even though like this is like a optimized version of the mechanism, in the early prototype when we have just one teeth and one ratcheting things, like even that point is still really durable. None of them break, even the 3D print one. So I'm pretty sure I can
We
guarantee
tested
that.
it
Yeah.
too. We tested it too. That we are ready to guarantee it for 2 years because it's
Mhm.
very tough.
Yeah.
And if we use linear ratcheting for all the modular system, so none of this is snap on. It sounds like snap on, but it's actually
Yeah.
ratcheting.
Yeah. So it's really durable.
And what other like mechanism in the world that is ratcheting and tough?
Like a seat belt,
Yeah, seatbelt is ratcheting. So these are already like
those kind of
used,
thing. Like
yeah, already used in like
yeah,
the most
so
tough environment on Earth.
so this is like we didn't deform like doing like the snap fit, making like the bucket of your belt or something that is plastic. That thing deform a lot of deformation on the plastic and create like the local stretch. And
Yeah,
this one is not.
our chief engineer, he works in automotive for many years.
Yeah.
So he's also a gamer.
Yes.
Yeah, so
He's like
so,
a more like a console gamer.
but yeah, but the point is, yeah, he also is a gamer. He wants to make the best gaming peripheral. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is the mechanism we come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we are ready to guarantee it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for material, the difference between like some you might have seen some of the previews about like creaking and
Yeah.
stuff. You can
Yeah.
tell more about.
Okay. Just to show you, like, this is the nature of 3D print. This is what it is. When you print it, even the industrial machine,
That
you
we use.
yeah, you still see I I maybe you don't see it, but as you can see, it's not perfect smooth. You have to sand it manually by hand without any machine. And we're doing like 30 sample, right? It's total of 700. So that's doing by hand. We cannot doing the QC, and you see a lot of support, right? This have to be cut manually and sand it. And also, even though we do it, the plastic is not the same as the real ABS that we're going to use anyway. It's like a really fragile, really brittle. Like the strength is like around 60%, 70%. So it's a really weak material. And yeah, in the final production, this is not the problem at all.
Yes.
Like this is just the 3D print nature. So
and for every one of that, we check with factory.
Yeah.
For DFM. So
Yeah.
every design has been going through DFM and is designed in a way that is accounted for this kind of creaking and
Yeah.
stuff that will not be there.
Yeah.
The creaking will not be there. Safety
Yeah.
factor very high,
and
very seamless.
And also, I think the worst thing about 3D print, let me talk about just a bit. So I think even though we try to check, double check, triple check the sample that we going to send, 3D print is really easily deformed by the heat. During the logistic in China, I was there when they shipped the plastic part. I'll send you the some of the picture to demonstrate how easy is deformed. And just by sending them across the world, some of the sample got some kind of like
so it's a bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So-
I think it's also important for us to do this because if we just come out with a CG and say we can do a lightweight modular gaming mice focus on shape for FPS players, nobody is gonna believe that.
this
Or like the
and
mechanism
in the
works,
past,
the
there's like a
mechanism works.
project that failed
But
to
many
to
projects
fulfill.
fail. Yeah, or like people will believe the ratcheting will work and it will keep things in place.
Yeah.
So that's why I think we have to do what we have to do. Yeah, to show that it can be done and that this thing that people have been talking and thinking about for a long
Yeah.
time, it can happen.
I mean, it's really interesting because usually when someone innovates something in the mouse industry, then everyone just suddenly copies it. You know, everyone feels the pressure to copy it. And obviously, I think, most recently, I think, Final Mouse kind of, they were the light mouse sort of revolution, just like pushing the limits in terms of how light can we get a mouse. And then everybody's like, oh man, this is the new standard. We've got to get a light mouse. And what's interesting here is I'm really curious how people might try to copy you, because I feel like what you have is potentially quite a dangerous product for your competitors, because again, the value of the fact that you can find a shape that feels really good is for me, it's almost like, well, this like being able to find a shape with this mouse, because you can test so many and you can just experiment so much, can lead people into figuring out, okay, well, this is the type of shape that really does work for me. And so I'm really curious about that. Like, have you guys thought about like just your competitors and how people might try to copy you, and how you can stay ahead of the game with the shape and just like the mouse and all of the mechanisms?
I think broadly there are like three ways to answer this. Number one is we are still very small and we are yet to prove ourselves that enough people like this concept. So I hope we
I'm
are
getting ahead of
proven right.
myself. Sorry. I'm so excited
I
for
hope
this.
we
Thank
hope we are
you.
proven right this on the 1st of October, US time. But I think we always look up to companies who put chip first when they come to mouse design. I will be GP, Logitech, Razer,
Razer,
Final Mouse,
Pulsar,
Pulsar, Endgame
Endgame
Gear.
Gears.
These companies are the one that doesn't they do care about the raw specs, of course, but they care about the shape and how it interacts with the hand first. If you look at every G Pro video, they start with the shape first. They
Yeah.
never start with
That's
saying Hero 2 sensor 8K. They do 8K lately because they have 1K, so also already very good.
yeah.
So yeah, so I think no, so I think that's number one. I think we always look up to them, and I think they have their own team of pros that they work with, and that's important because other like newer comers, a lot of them we don't see them with the pros. They just look at okay, this shape might work.
Just
Let's
like
just
a
copy,
clone.
let's just clone it, change it a bit. So, but we really value people, companies who work with real gamers to come up with those shapes. So I don't think they will copy us because they already have their own teams of like great people they work with, and they have their own way of making shapes. I think number one, and number two is I think this is still a concept to be proven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. But number three is how do we stay ahead of the game? Should this concept be successful? I think there are two ways to do it. I think number one is because now you can do it a much more specialized or individualized shape. So we can work with pros directly. We can work with
We already did, actually.
yeah, we already did with some already. I think we were very honored that we get to work with Mini and Viscos and Struth and Maddie.
Maddie's.
So we can try to work with them directly and get them the shape that they want.
Yeah.
Right. And then they can explain in a scientific way why this shape might be good for people with a similar type or style preference, and people can have access to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the pro shapes no longer have to be okay a collaborative project. That would still happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can have like individual pros that can work with us and make it happen, and the community can also have a voice in it. We can say, okay, we want to do a test program with let's say SU for example, or tens, and then we can like, okay, this is a shape that tens like, send it to 20 people, and then they can give feedback, and then we can come up with a better shapes. And also, if the community they come up with a shape that is good, of course, our policy is that they can 3D print it as long as they follow the guideline.
Yeah.
But if the shape become popular and they want to work with us,
They can just
they
talk to us.
they can talk to us, and then hopefully we have more like access to like molding,
Yeah.
or like more exotic material
Yeah.
that will reduce weight for people who like really low weight.
Yeah.
So I think this is how you stay ahead of the game, and I think
You'll
or just try to keep up in this market. And another thing is I think we designed the mouse to be flexible, like to be a platform instead of like, okay, if you need something new, you need to buy a new mouse. I think people complain, and they do rightly, about like, okay, maybe this is big and it's increased global warming. Yeah, true. But another way to
This is
look
just
at
2 mouse,
yeah,
actually.
2 mouse actually. But another way to look at it is if you make this a platform that you don't need to, that is very easy for people like us to just change something that we like to change.
Yeah.
Then it is just one mouse. Then the logistics become much easier. We just chip the part that they want to change.
Yeah.
Or things they want to do upgrade. And then it's much more flexible, and it is really their mouse. We can show you a bit on how we designed the shell to be very accessible.
Oh, yes.
Yes. You want to show this one, not this one?
Let's do it.
This one. This is the new one.
Let's show the new
I'll just show you how easy it is for the new ones to how you open the shell after all.
So
You
there's
see?
no screw.
Right now, like the latest design, the one that pre-word have it also, we don't have any screw underneath, right? We re-innovate everything. Like we ask, like just remove it then.
Yeah, just remove it.
All the screw is here. Just
Very
remove
easy.
the back hump. You unscrew, throw screw. Let me show you real quick. It is really easy. Two. Yeah. Three.
And then remember, these are the same guys who like make their own keyboards.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we trust them more to do cool things with their own mice, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
You access to everything of the mouse.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
I don't know, like we already made some things on the PCB, and it will be even improved in the future. As you can see, like on default, when you purchase the Pathfinder, you get the optical Omron optical. But when we made the PCB, not sure whether you can see it, but you see that we have another hole,
A backup.
in the middle, and optical switch doesn't require that. We're doing this because if you are get into the mouse and this is going to be your ultimate mouse, I think you should have a choice to choose your preference switch. And this is just the demonstration of, yeah, you can do that. Like even on this model, this is like Japanese Omron anyway, so you just desolder and solder it.
Yeah.
And
in future, we hope to
we hope
actually
to separate the PCB, and then you just change everything.
yeah, because even in
like
the PCB, right, there are things
Wow.
that you might like to change and things you don't want to change. Like okay, or like it's not up to you.
Yeah.
Like MCU or sensor, it might like come like
Yeah.
once every 2 years. So what if we separate the part that you want to change a lot?
Yeah.
Like
and
Yeah.
and also some part that prone to fail first, like the encoder, the wheel encoder. If we separate the PCB, it would be really easy and really
Yeah.
cheap for you.
yeah, just
So
change it.
just open the mouse, unplug the connector, change the frontal PCB. That's it.
And you can upgrade to like a frontal PCB with hotspot, for example.
Yeah, and by doing this, you see the side speed and the base. This is monocoque. This is the whole solid unit. It is really stiff.
Yes.
Even
Even stubby.
even than the one that we sent to the reviewer. This one, you see the separation? Yeah. This is even though this is 3D print, it's decent, but this is another level because this is no joint at all.
Yeah.
This is like the real solid pieces.
And if you want to change the shell, like colorway, stuff like that, why buy a new mouse? You just buy a new color,
change,
put it up.
M1, M2. That's it. Easy.
Yeah. So that's that's how we hope to stay ahead of the plan. Let's hope we succeed. Otherwise, people will just copy this part and not the modular part. But yeah, this is what we want to see. Is that
I can show you how to
like the mouse ownership, it can change instead of like buying a new mouse just because you want to change colorway.
Yeah.
You just open it up like it's your, like a toy.
Yeah. Just 4 screws. I think
Just
it's
4
easy enough.
screws. And people make their own keyboards.
Yeah.
This is 4 screws.
They solder like 100 like key like
yeah,
switch.
Yeah. I've seen people do that. Yeah.
So yeah, this is probably we spent 2 years just to make the best mount that we
want for ourselves.
We want for ourselves.
And
So
for the community we get to talk to.
Yeah, we really hope that if we have enough pre-order units, and we will just make this the best mount that we can, like at this time. So and we don't want to change the model quite often every year. Like the rest is just like maybe new colorway, the aesthetic.
But you don't need to buy a new mouse.
Yeah.
You just buy a new shell.
Yeah.
Or like very lightweight material. You just change the shell.
Yeah.
Why do you need to know a new mouse? And that's the point, I think, of why we want this project. Because like when it is your own, it has to be your own.
Yeah. I use it every day. I can say this. I use it every day.
No, it's super cool. I definitely think there's going to be a massive community around people that want to mess with the modding and so on. And the fact that you've made it so easy is really cool, because there's a lot of people out there that they do services where they mod popular mice to try to make it a little bit better in some way. Or we want different switches or different sensors and these just anything, and even the software on the mouse and all of that. And so there's a lot of people that are interested in that. Pros especially, pros themselves might not do the customization. They may get somebody else to do it. But if there is a very easy way to do it, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see kind of all of the crazy creative stuff that people come up with to customize. And I mean, obviously, as you said, like, I feel like it's us gamers, we're so obsessed with the performance, and the mouse is so critical to that. So like the customization is just, I think, in most people's just interest and blood. I think the modding communities and the gaming communities in all sort of areas, it's always been so popular. So it's and it's been talked about for such a long time that the final evolution of the mice is the fact that you can make a mouse that is like custom designed for every single individual. And it's just like, how do you do that? How do you create that? How do you scale that? And obviously no one has until now possibly solved that question. So that's one thing that's really interesting about this. So with the switches and all of the stuff that you're kind of, the stock choices that you've made, switches and sensors and so on. Can you talk us through some of your decisions with that?
Okay.
I think before that, just one more add. This also makes it easier for left-handers as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because
We got a lot of lefty.
left-handed people ask this, so I need to do a little PSA. So like for this kind of shapes that works well when you are like right-handed, and people want to try this shape when they are left-handed.
Yeah.
We just mirror this. They can print it out. They just plug it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that for left-handers. Unfortunately, we are working on how to like switch the M4 M5.
Yeah.
Not in this model, but with the platform being quite open,
Yeah.
it could. We are trying to future-proof that.
Eventually, we'll try.
We'll try
our best.
We promise.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay. So for the Switch, I think it's began like half the years before. So at the time, we gathered a lot of pro players and also aimers to have a discussion in our Discord channel. It's called the Space Bar. So we have like a presentation and talking about this time we're going to choose M1, M2, M3 switch and M4, M5. This is the characteristic that we're looking for M1 and M2 is have to be crisp, it have to be responsive. For M3 is maybe a bit more stiff. The scroll wheel, how do you use that in each game? The Apex players, you have strafing. M4 and 5 you tend to like we get the requirement from a lot of people to make sure like which kind of character that we want. And also we also brought, I would say we brought most of the switch
Available in the market.
I don't know if you can see it or not, but yeah, we try all of them.
Yes.
We try all of them doing the sound tests by ourselves, and also
we also do fast tests with robots.
Yeah, and also we have the robot case, and in the final we just let people help us design and consult us on what should be used.
Yeah. So what was the consensus? What are the switches?
So
What are the consensus? The switches used. Let's go through one
by one.
Yeah.
Okay. So for M1, M2, as default, it will be the Omron optical for M1 and M2. For M3 right now, we use the TTC 7.3 millimeters. This one is the tactility of this one is like it's clicky. It's not too soft. And also the view encoder. I think we try even the Japanese one that's rated like a really high quality, but we found like the tactility is not right. I think it's either too soft or too stiff. So we choose the TTC Gold version 2 with the dust proof enclosure. So this one going to be the best. And also for the M4 and M5 buttons, we chose I would say the best from Omron. This one is D2LS. Like this is 20 millions. I think this is the best of the Omron for the side switch. Yeah. So this is what we decide.
Yeah.
Sweet. I think it's I mean, this is obviously that's one of the most important parts of a mouse is the switches, and I think what related to that is also, of course, just the interaction between the fingers and the actuation points, and with the shape changes, as you're saying, being able to change how the shape will be there. How does that in sort of how you've designed everything? How does someone changing the mouse 1, mouse 2 parts of the shape impact the feel of the actuation with the switches? Can you have it be stiffer? Can you have it be like a lighter click? How does that work exactly with the design currently?
So right now we
just finally tune it, I think, for now.
Yeah.
Right?
I think as of now we try to what we tune, because as default it will be the optical Omron, but choosing the sensor is not the most important thing actually, because the thing is you have to design in the way that the M1 M2 structure is stiff enough, not too stiff, not too soft, not too wobbly. Like that's how you provide the best click qualities for the mouse. So yes, we it's more like we design the structure and the ribs behind the M1 M2, but because we designed it on the 3D print, it's not when we simulate that on the computer, it's different from the 3D print. And
Yeah, but I think another thing we want to add is that one thing we made sure is that the sensation to click, the force
oh
needed
yes,
will be constant
constant,
across
more
Ah,
uniform, more uniform,
yes, I think that's the key
because
because you see like people like Struth, he like lay his finger like really into
Yeah.
the
yeah,
front,
and click the switch in
very
the
perpendicular way,
not so famous
like very
position.
cool way.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And also we found some player clicking their mouse in the frontal part, like in the front part, like this.
oh my
So
God, who's doing that?
yeah, that is also a
you
pro, Apex Pro as well.
yeah, Epic Pro as well.
So I think we learned a lot from just listening and talking to a lot of people and a lot of players, and that's how we design things. And yeah,
Yeah,
just remember to
Yeah.
include that
I
requirement.
think
And
one of the biggest regret of the pre-production is
is
that we
this one.
cannot get the click quality the way
Yeah.
that we designed it. But we already,
And
but
yeah,
we have it as top priority.
yeah, the problem is, I think, is like when we order the first sample, they send different material of the 3D print, even though we say
There's some
3D.
mess up.
Yeah, there's some mess up.
Yeah,
That's
but
it.
yeah, but we designed this to be constant click
Yeah.
sensation across the switch.
Yeah.
And actually, like this one,
This one is
you can
we
like
print
click
it
here.
in house.
Yeah, we do it in house. It works.
It's
Yeah.
really clicky. So yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
unfortunately.
Because that's something that I know is like you guys were saying about the grip, how different the grips can be. For some people, it's like I've used mice where my natural grip is going to put my fingers in a place where it's on the stiffer part of the mouse one and mouse two parts of the shape, and so then I'm like, oh well, this is actually I can't really actually use this because it's like you were saying, that feeling of, oh, this is an extension, oh, everything else feels good, but now I have too much force that's required to press here, or maybe even potentially, oh, it's too light depending on where my finger is on that. So that's actually the fact that it's like a consistent feeling is really cool, and I think that's
And also,
one of the things that turns people off a lot is that sensation.
yes, correct. And also because the new model is it's really easy to open the chassis of the mouse. In every M1 M2 structure, you will see some like some transparent plastic, is like the Teflon plastic, and also some foam. If we can access the mouse really easily, I think you can also like modify that
like
as well
the plug
to change the characteristic of the click. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
You can tune it yourself, I think.
Awesome. And with the mouse wheel, obviously got to talk about that too, because the mouse wheel this is something that is the feeling of it is so variable across so many different mice, and I mean again, it can be another thing that can be a huge turnoff. Oh, is too stiff, or it's too. I think generally too stiff tends to be worse than too light, because at least
Yeah.
with too light, it's still gonna feel more fluid. Whereas when it's too stiff, it's like, oh, this is kind of a bit rough. And the same thing with, because as you guys are mentioning, in like, let's say, Counter-Strike, it's really common to try to bunny hop with the mouse wheel, but then at the same time you might actually want to also press the mouse wheel and get the mouse wheel click for something else. And so like a lot of mice don't tend to handle that like super well in terms of how that feels. So yeah, talk to me about the mouse wheel, because the mouse wheel is super important too.
Yeah. So for the yeah, I think we other than M1 M2 click that we taste on the robot, we taste everything on the robot actually, even the scroll wheel. So we try to like, because scroll wheel, the stiffness of the M3 click is come from the structure of the shaft that you insert into the encoder, and also the structure that support it, and also the switch selection. So this is just something that may be difficult to define, but we just have to do it and taste it, whether it's okay, too soft, too stiff, to
And
find
then we play test it.
yeah. And most importantly, we just let really good player test it instead of me. So yeah, that's the key. We always come back to a lot of pros to consult
Please
them
check it again.
whether
test it
this is
again.
good enough from them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the whole process.
One day we might like think of like new mechanism for it, but I think for now this is
I can show you just a little bit from the M4 M5 right now, because it's really easy accessible from open the shell. We have some spring on that, and this one just hearing the noise. is not like a normal mouse already. You can tune the feeling of how stiff it is
By
by
changing the
just
spring.
changing the spring. It's gonna be easy, really cheap. You can do it yourself. I think
Yeah,
it's
you can
really
buy
easy.
a spring anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. Just use the numbers.
So we will
say,
supply some selection, whether you want it soft or you want it really hard. So yeah, this is something that I think
really excites us actually.
yeah
To be able
we
to
love to modify things that we use every day, right? So this is something that we want to do.
Yeah, I'm so excited by this because you don't get to see like these innovations every day. So again, like, you know, I remember when the Razer Boom Slang came out in like the year 2000, and it was like, oh wow, the first like laser mouse, and it's like, whoa, it's obviously it was terrible, but but like that was pretty cool, and you know, we still used you know, different mice and sensors and stuff like that, but like just it's really cool seeing these innovations. They don't happen you know, all the time, and obviously you know, these days we're getting to a point where it feels like, you know, it's again, there's so much market saturation. There's so much incentive for people to find new ways to innovate that it feels like, you know, things. It felt like things were starting to slow down, and it felt like Final Mouse have been like the last big innovators. I've mentioned them a couple times. I'm curious, you know, if you guys drew any, like, who inspired you of let's say the previous innovators in the industry. Is there any particular like company or thing that you saw that you thought was like really cool, or are you guys just like you found your you looked at all your competitors, you're like, this is what everyone's missing, we're just going to make this? And
I think we also like we bought every mice. We also collect mice, so we enjoy them. I think there's in that case in that sense, like there's no like real competitor, like even because we also admire a lot of these brands. I would say like let's say okay, let me praise all the brands
yeah,
like
let's do
let's
it.
do it. So like I think Logitech really takes great care of software, firmware, and I think they have the best collaboration with the pro players.
Yeah.
I think Pulsar is also very cool, and I think Pulsar makes you feel like you're buying a sneaker.
Oh yes.
I think that is the best thing
Like
about Pulsar. It feels like you're buying a sneaker or a cool jacket. I think
like a
that's
streetwear.
like a streetwear, right? And Final Mouse makes you feel like you're
like a
you're on a spaceship.
Yeah.
Basically, you use spaceship to play. So all and then when Razer too. Razer is also cool. I'm still like trying to look for Viper Mini Signature on eBay.
yeah.
Even today.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean everyone has their own, and I think for us, that people usually mention like, there was Mad Cat or there was Logitech G9 that did some kind of modular before, and we would not deny that. We would not say we are the first modular mouse. But I think when you start the question of I want to make a modular mouse for gaming, and I want to make
The best
the
mouse
best
for
mouse for
FPS.
FPS, you come up with similar ways to do that.
Different formula, but
Different formula.
converted
It's like a
to
convergent
some kind of
evolution.
same. Yeah.
Yeah, but we approach the problem in a different way because there's no way we would use like screwdriver to like finally
Yeah.
adjust like Mad Cat
Yeah.
because that is not going to be the objective.
Yeah. And that
Yeah,
doesn't
but
mean
I
that
love
they are
them.
bad.
Yeah, let's not.
I mean, at that time, they are the most innovative
yes,
products.
yes.
Like that.
I really want them in college.
Like
Like it was
Yes.
playing. Maybe that's why I get dropped off because I didn't get a Mad Cat. Who knows?
yeah, but yeah, I think becoming the top of the brand, like Final Mount, and to prove something, they have like philosophy of what is their best mount, and that
Yeah,
they
like
prove it.
Game Gear, right?
that-
There's like a German efficiency,
Yeah.
no frill, very detail RAM thing.
No,
Just get it done with the best shape ever.
Yeah.
That is what inspires us, I think, and I think, and we think that like the market is so huge.
Yeah.
So we think that we can live in the market together and kind of
Yeah.
inspire each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's the ideal way of things. Yeah.
Well, in terms of, you know, that's a lot of inspiration in terms of the companies that have come before, and you know, in some of the posts you've made on X, you've shown sort of, you know, we worked with, you know, because already mentioned like Mini, for example, and and from talking with Mini, we made these kinds of adjustments. What were some of the things that you learned, maybe you didn't expect to learn, or that you thought was, you know, really cool, that impacted the mouse design, like directly from some of the aim training players?
Well, I think the biggest surprise is people provide us with like 5 or 10 Google Docs.
Oh
Page of
yes,
Google
yes,
Docs.
yes.
Yes, like viscose. Just
We
send like a list of this,
Mhm.
this.
It's just such a deep conversation about something so abstract about
Yeah.
the mouse, how you grip it,
And someone
why
is
it is
like
just
Natty is so sublime, right? Because you know he likes the G Pro,
yeah,
but he understands shape. He understands the dynamic of how the shape interact with the mouth, with the fingers and
yeah,
stuff like that.
and
So yeah, I think the most surprising thing is that some shapes we didn't know exist even when we make it ourselves.
yeah,
Actually, people use and like it.
yeah,
Yes, because for example, you have people I think who let's say like to use
yeah,
fingertip grip, and
yeah.
more than one, they end up liking the one where you put two spacers in the
Oh
hump.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you change that?
Oh,
Okay, it's not changing that.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So you're normally you put one spacer to add the length, right? And but two, we design it so that
We prepare it. We
yeah.
didn't decide to support two, but
Yeah,
we prepare that
this is
people
like
might have to.
132 millimeters.
Yeah,
This is one of the longest mouse ever, and the people who use fingertip, they like it
yeah,
because they
Oh
say
wow.
this is like the same posture they use fingertip but with support. So you can like fingertip with really low weight, or fingertip with some support on yourself. And this is like what we didn't expect before.
yeah,
Or people who like put nothing in the hump
yeah,
but add stuff on the sides.
yeah,
Yeah, to make it like okay, maybe this is like a cool master, but no,
yeah,
but it's like their own kind of shape. It is very intriguing and interesting all the time. And also people who are like Sai, like Rocket Jump Ninja. He turns out he like with no sides at all because the basic shape is very thin.
and he like it like the thinner it is,
It the better, like
he
the
better.
more pen like the better. And we didn't think of this as a shape,
Yeah,
but people
just
go
somehow.
beyond that and think yes, this is a shape.
Yeah,
Yeah, it fits and it is a shape, and then that is what surprised us, I think. And yeah, and also like we said, the shapes, I think this the shape that uh it has like real like input, as I said, is like the claw and the pinch. I think Struth really helped tune this.
yeah.
And also the
Claw
S,
and
the S, this is help.
slash.
Yeah, slash, this is really tuned by Viscose. We made it because we see that many people
So
grip
cool.
like this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we made it. She still doesn't like it. So we hope that one day, in the final thing,
But
she
when we
will like
made
it.
it, me myself
Yeah,
personally
but he
made
means
it.
it. But he means it. He means a slap. So yeah,
Yeah, it's really fun and
really fun.
yeah. And you can see from the shape selection that we have like a really like three weird shapes like these. Like just be open minded and try
Yeah,
it.
yes,
You
this
will
is
find
like
something fun.
yeah, it is fun. And yeah, I think
Many people we can change a lot of people when they actually like try these
get the
shapes.
chance to try.
Yeah.
And I think the first week you use it, and the second
Oh
week in a
yes,
month,
yes, yes.
it your understanding of the shape that you like, and also how you play,
Mm-hmm.
is gonna be different.
Like this is I think me and my colleague here like we are the most people who
Yeah, like the
experience.
most experience with testing the
Yeah,
mice.
the feeling of using Pathfinder in the first hour, many said like this is like in first hour they try a lot of mouse than they test before. So and then the first hour different, one day I think it's different. You kind of have some preference and maybe like other two choice your preference, and then for 1 week if you keep trying and you try other shapes, you will feel different. And finally I think it's around a month. I think at that time
Mhm.
if you fully explore all the shape, normally people cannot grip uh cannot go to other gripping style quite fast, I think. But if they're using Pathfinder, I think it's really easy for them. Just make a swap, and then if you're able to try that, and from me myself and also my colleague, we can adjust our gripping style to other types of gripping style,
And you start to
and
understand. Yeah,
each of them provide different characteristic, I
yeah.
think.
And then that's important because when you play different games, different metas, different gun, you need to have different characteristics in
Yeah,
order to play well.
yeah. Like gaming is dynamic. It's changing the meta,
The
the
patch
yeah
change,
the
the
patch
drop
change
change.
yeah, so I think the more you understand it, and also in order to master aiming, I think you should learn most of these. Like you should learn how to use like low DPI, like how it's affect your gameplay, and also high DPI to master everything. Like because when you move your mouse, like there are three movements: your hand, your wrist, and also the finger. These contribute to the end moving
Result
cursor.
on the
Yeah,
on the screen.
yeah. So I think in order to master aiming and everything, I think like the experience that I have on the Pathfinder is amazing. I really hope that we can share this
To the
wonderful
world.
journey to the world, and yeah, just be open minded. We really amazed when we ask pro player to come and sit, and when we see that they're playing like so good at that night, I just like, yeah, I today I will use this shape and try
Because
that.
we saw him do that.
Yeah,
Even
and
a lot of the times we change the mouse because of that as well.
yeah,
Right, by not try to change the shape.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
been a really fun journey.
Yes.
So what's
That's why
the? Oh,
sorry.
sorry. Go ahead.
No. Please.
Oh, yeah, I was
Please.
going to ask. So I totally forgot to ask this earlier, but the dimensions in millimeters on the base shape before you add everything. What is that in terms of length and width? Like, how small is it before you start adding stuff? Because you showed like how long it can get, but in terms of the base, like how small can it be based off of, let's say, there's the smallest possible parts, and or what is the dimensions on the base?
Okay. So let me show you. Don getting the calibers. Okay. So I would say that when you want to refer like the dimension of the mouse, I think okay, for the width, I think it's okay to measure like the minimal width. This one is 48 millimeter. I think this probably
One of the
the
thinnest mouse.
narrowest mouse
One of the
already.
most narrow mouse.
And also when you measure the length, I would suggest you measure from the sensor position, or at least the waist of the mouse, to get the more accurate. This is like 63, and in total, yeah, I think this is, you can refer this in the shape, yellow shape. This is 116. Yeah,
Mm.
so really short
And
compared to other
and
mouse.
the actual one with the ABS would be around 40-ish gram.
Yep, yep,
Ah, I
yep.
see. I see. Okay.
So, but we spend a lot of time like fine tune this initial dimension, because like even though this seemed like really simple thing, but this sweet spot is really difficult to find. Like
Yes.
what is the height of the mount that we should design? What is the width? What is the minimum width? Like like just imagine like when we design the spacer, we have to ask ourselves, how thick should it be? How how fine should it be? Like, is it adding half millimeters enough to let you experience? Is it going to be sensible? But yeah, in the end, we just like refining, iterating, and try it ourselves, blind tasting to kind of like
To find a sweet spot.
yeah,
Yeah,
to
to
find
find
a
it.
sweet
And I
spot.
think we still have, probably we have to ask both mini and viscose again before we start the mold, if this should be like 1 millimeter,
Yeah.
more narrow.
Yeah.
We're still thinking about it.
Yeah, because this has happened. Like the shape that you see in the box, this for us is supposed to be distributed of the
Evenly.
property. Yeah.
Yeah.
So also like if we saw a lot of conflict in the final, let's say the final render that we have, we ask them like what is that favorite conflict right now. If most of them use no spacer at all, that's mean yeah, maybe we get the dimension wrong. We should make it smaller, and then they will start to add spacer after that. But yeah,
This is, yeah.
but we really close to the sweet spot, I think, right now.
Nice. I mean, the Rocket Jump Ninja thing is, he does love it, them to be really, really thin, and so if he's happy, then I'm sure those people will be happy, because I'm somewhat similar in terms of I like the smaller shapes, like I like using like the Starlight 12 small, for example, which is like very, very narrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to the feet, actually, I feel like the feet is probably one of the things that is the thing that the most people will actually change. But at the same time, it's also because I mean, it's easy to change it. Anyone can do it. No technical expertise required. So
Yeah.
I feel like because of that, a lot of mouse companies don't necessarily put too much thought into the feet. And it wasn't until I again went into the aim trainer community did I realize how much the feet
Oh.
can help with the mouse pad. You can add friction, you can decrease friction with the feet depending on how many dots you use or not. And so there's a whole world of mouse feet. What is your take on the stock feet?
I think it's like almost like wine pairing with
Oh
cheese.
yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
because you have like some cheese that goes with some wine, and you have this mouse food. Yeah, and
So
some of them are red like wine. So
our solution right now that we're going to provide to all the user is we will provide the X-ray jade and also the obsidian.
Oh wow.
And yeah, they get
Wow.
both of them at the beginning. And the way that we design might be different from others. We have the corner and we have the centerpiece. Okay. By doing this, the we let the user fine tune the contact area of the feet to the mouse pad, because when we talk about the friction between the feet and mouse pad, I think when we really taste it, we taste it with our machine and we test it really systematically. Like we measure like how does someone like when they do it like edit like aim down sight, like when they squeeze the mouse down, what is the weight adding to the thing, the whole thing, and we calculate that. We calculate we try which like how small should it be, how small to get some impact on the friction effect. Yeah, and that's how we design thing to be this way. And we add two of these because this is going to be more control, and also this is going to be like more in terms of speed. So yeah, this is what we got.
yes, and it's
Wow.
also flat. I think also thanks to Jake who also
Oh yes, yes, yes.
yes
Oh,
who keep like
really deep.
pushing us to say make it less flat as you can, except around
Oh
the
yes,
area,
and as you can see, our base is completely flat. It's just
except the
going to have.
sensor a bit a mode.
I don't have the template, but it will be just razor engraved about the logo and everything, and also the template,
The patterns.
the pattern of how you should place your feet. But you feel free to add any feet on the market on the mouse, and we calibrate the height from the lower part to the sensor, the pixar sensor, according to the other
Of the band.
sheet. Like at least right now, I can say that the accuracy of this mouse when we move like 1 inch, it will be like the
Very
DPI.
accurate because we did it according to spec
Yeah,
as much as we can.
yeah.
Wow. I can't believe
Yes.
you're providing those feet for people. That's incredible. Like you're basically providing out of the box like the like best aftermarket feet pretty much that you can get. So it's like that's
We were
amazing.
thinking about grip or feet, and then we decided on feet
Yeah.
because I think grip we can tune a texture real well,
Yeah.
but I think feet is still a preference.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's amazing.
just
Well, you
it will be
mentioned DPI and stuff and software, and so let's talk about some of those decisions that you guys have made with this mouse. So in terms of so you mentioned the lift off distance that can be tuned with the software. So with the software, what's the approach? Do you have onboard memory? Do people need the drivers installed? Like, do you have like just some buttons where you can just program just off of the mouse itself? Like, how's all that going to work?
okay. So basically, the software that we're going to provide will have the normal function just like the other mouse.
Yeah.
Like you get the ability to change the DPI, LOD, motion sinks, and the bouncing time.
Yeah, I think from coming from IT,
It will be
it
like a
teaches us that the key thing is to get a really solid firmware.
Yeah.
That is more important.
Yeah.
And then all this other stuff you can add later. Kind of like you can add, or you can always add like an online configuration.
After this, yeah.
But if you like mess up how well the firmware perform, no one is going to get to that
Yeah.
point. You're gonna throw
So-
the mouse
so-
away. So yeah, I think we start with the best possible firmware,
Firmware,
lowest
yes.
click latency, and we have a machine here that we test as well. So
in the future, we will provide some insightful result, like from the mouse. I think we can demonstrate about like the sensor, the MCU, like what is the effect, and I think everything is eventually is boiled down to the firmware.
Yeah.
Like even though you have the same component, the same chip, your mouse not going to behave the same thing.
yes, like
And-
from our testing, we see that Logitech 1K is still better than many brands in
Yeah.
8K.
Yeah.
And when you look at it from a machine point of view, You
Yeah.
might not feel it like when you play,
You
but
might blame yourself, your grip, but
yeah,
when we
yeah,
test it with the robot, you can really see some of the difference.
yeah.
And
So that's why there's the pros prefer G Pro, even like unconsciously.
I think this kind of thing is like make them confidence.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You feel confidence.
Yeah.
It comes back to the same thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to have the best format possible.
Yeah.
I think, and the config might be simple right now, but I don't see anything wrong with that. I think EGG they also make like very simple but effective one.
Yeah.
So I think we are going that route. But yeah, but we hope to like add more things in the future.
Yeah. We have the plan that
Yeah,
maybe no, maybe not.
maybe not yet.
Okay.
Yeah. We
Okay.
don't want to over. But we promise first that okay, we make good 4K.
Yeah.
And if we can get a good 8K wired, we will go for 8K wired as well. And we will make sure like the port here, we use like a premium USB port so that people can plug it in and use it wired. A lot of people we talk to also brings to mind, like Maddie or West Coast. And I think, and also like low click latency.
Yeah.
There's
Like I think
and repeatability.
to sum up, like there's four factor like to measure how good the firmware is. One of them is the DPI deviation. That's mean when you move like let's say 5 inch, how mouse sensor reading from that. Like is it going to be like the same like 1600 DPI or is it like deviate a lot? So this is DPI deviation. The second is motion latency or motion delay. This is supposed to be quick. And when you see 4K or 8K in the market, it doesn't mean that the report that you get from the receiver is the current one, the present one. Like it doesn't have to be that way. Some of them, when we taste it,
there's some data grading involved.
Like
so
it's just like some data from the buffer of the mouse, and then this is not the
like what we call it resampling.
Yeah, like 4K 4K upscaling. You see,
Yeah.
like even though we have 4K pouring, it's not that fast from reading the data. And yeah, so motion delay, motion latency, click latency is another thing because how the mouse work is like different. They prioritize the motion first and then the click latency. That's why we have such a huge difference from the click latency. And also the last one is going to be the battery consumption.
Yeah.
That was my next question actually, the battery. Yeah.
And as you can see from the mouse underneath, you might see some hole here, right?
Yeah. So the what he is hinting at is because I think one of the thing about 4K that people want the trade-off is battery life.
Yeah.
Except Logitech, they can do it very well.
Oh yes.
See, we are always inspired.
Yes.
We don't think them are competitors, not yet. So, but what we want to for people to do is that we want to give them a good 4K experience that also doesn't come with like okay battery ran out.
Yeah.
So
like the first three factor, DPI, motion delay, click latency, these things will be optimized to the max, and then the mouse going to draw a lot more power. But if we provide the experience,
easy charging dock, stuff like that, it will make things easier.
Yeah.
I think until we can like really optimize battery more and something.
Yeah.
So the default battery will be 250 milliamp hours. So we are aiming for like 30 hours on 4K.
Yeah.
So I think that is the standard. But on the battery, we will see if if I think one thing we are trying to explore here is can people add more batteries by themselves?
Oh yes.
So they can change battery size if they want more. So it comes with weight, but it's their choice.
Yeah.
Because I think I need to tell you a funny thing is that I talked to some people who like saw the previews by Optimum or others, and one thing they asked is, can we add weight? The mouse today is too light. Can you add weight?
And actually, this topic might like polarize people into two groups.
It's polarized.
One of them
like politics today. So we try not to wade
one
into
of
that.
them prefer really light mouse.
Really light.
And the others, and this group include pro as well. We talk to many pros, and some of them don't really like the light mouse. So it's different for us to find the sweet spot. So, and adding more battery is
one way.
One quick solution
to add weight, or maybe we make like a a vibranium spacer, so it's a bit heavier.
Yeah.
That could also be a way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that there are solutions, but yeah, I think for this time we want. I think this is like 52 to 58. I think there's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
A sweet spot, as most people tend to think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny because there is a counterculture where everyone's like, because you're right, that everyone is trying to make the lightest mice possible, and some people are just like, "Come, guys, like, can we chill out?" It's interesting though, because this is another thing about like every part of the mouse impacts the feeling, and the weight's pretty huge because that impacts the downward pressure that you have. It impacts like the stopping power. So like every pad's gonna feel different, but and then also like, what's your grip like, and then how dominant are you between like the armrest and fingertips, like all of these things like are, like matter for sure. And I was going to ask you about the weight, because obviously you guys have to make like all of the decisions also come to like the weight. You're designing everything around the base. Okay, we've got the base, and what's the base weight going to be, and then but then when people add stuff, so you must have had so many decision points around this, because obviously the material science and everything that's involved in this as well in producing a really lightweight mouse. This seemed to be a challenge for a lot of companies, and only in the last few years has it started to be more figured out, and have because for example Final Mouse, they made their like a magnesium composite, like and that got it like really light, but then it helped them to counteract that if you have such a light material, then it's still going to be very durable with what and the build qualities are going to feel good. So there's been so much development around just the question of how do we make the weight low but also feel really good. So what was that? How did you guys settle on the weight that you landed at, and what kind of were there sacrifices that you had to make to achieve that, or do you feel like you didn't have to do that?
I think just thinking about like just making because the modularity of the mouse, I think this thing alone costs a lot of weight already. But like because we are the one who designed this, me and Krishna and our team internally, we didn't ask anyone who to help reduce or doing everything. We can be crazy about the engineering behind and the structure and everything. We use one part to serve many like function. This part serve like to be like holding the M4 M5 PCB, and also holding the battery, and also provide some structure from the sidewall, like this kind of thing. Like because we do it by ourselves, we know exactly which part influence the other part, and that's how we engineered this thing to reach this weight.
Yeah, there are difficult decisions we had to make. I think yes.
Yeah.
But I think we arrive at around 40. I think 40-ish for the core, even in ABS, and then about 53 to 59.
Like this.
But yeah, but I think 59 would be like really big configuration actually.
Yeah.
So normally you would stay at like 52 to 55 or 56, which I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
as you can see, we actually like engineer that into the last millimeter of the mouse. Everything is like we have all the weight reduction. Sorry.
No, you're all good.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, we actually, like, you can see on every part that we have, we reduce. Yeah, you can see more clearly with the big model. This one is not the final one, but you can see like we have the honeycomb structure inside every place that we can include it in the mouse. We try to, because this is one of the most challenging thing about doing the modular mouse is most of the time you have to trade off with the weight, like the strength of the structure, the mechanism, how to optimize them, and the mechanism choice. Everything comes down to the weight and so
I think, but I think also for our players, I hope that they see that the benefit from having the right shape outweighs like a few grams that they might shave off with another shape. I think that is what we want for them to see, and hopefully in the future, I mean, it's always possible to make like a pro carbon fiber shell,
carbon composite
shell, and because we made it already quite simple to open and close, we can just sell the shell.
This one,
and then you just change the shell.
This one is 46 gram.
Yeah, 46 gram.
Yeah, and this even like
this is resin. So ABS
resin.
would be around like 15% lower, so it'd be like 44 even.
Yeah.
43 already.
And this is the preview unit one. We have 60 gram, but this one, the newest one, is 46 gram. So there will be some different.
There will be some different.
We're still optimizing.
We are still optimizing. We are still going for low weight for now. But I think, yeah, as mentioned, for people who prefer more weight, maybe we can look into like other materials for these spacers or something.
Yeah.
So they can have the mouse, their own ultimate mouse in the way they like.
So another question in terms of customization that is become quite common, I think, in recent years is also, do you use grip tape? And obviously grip tape impacts the width of the mouse and the feel quite significantly, and obviously some mice really need it because the material, the plastic might, especially, and if someone's particularly sweaty or like whatever it is, there's lots of reasons why grip tape can help, and it can have a massive difference on aim because, like with shape, like you said, if sometimes people's grip slip slightly, and doesn't feel great. And so if you have like a strong grip, it's like a different feeling sometimes just by adding some grip tape. So what's the conversation been around grip tape or just that in general?
Okay, first of all, I think for our mouse, basically you see we have like a 7 on the right and 4 on the left. Putting grip tape might be not easy.
Not easy, or like this kind of shape. It's not easy to put.
Yeah.
It's like a batarang shape, right?
Batarang, yes.
Nice.
That's not where I'm gonna need. What did I do? It kind of bites me.
Yes. Yeah, but our thought is we going to provide at least our best texture.
Yes, and we'll get the best people
to test it.
We get Stubby to test it. We get Jake to test it. We get Rapso to test it.
And also me myself also like a sweaty hand. So,
our team is sweaty hands.
Yeah,
we are sweaty, so it helps.
Yeah, so the thing is, like when we design the whole pieces, normally when you making like the plastic injection part, like every mouse have this, right? You have two choice when you want to do the texture. One, you bake the texture into the mold. When you injection the mold, it's come with the texture. But this way, it's not so flexible. And also our mold is like 5 times more expensive than a normal mouse, and we don't want to.
Yes, that's why we want your support.
Oh yes, please support us. Get a black and white. Yeah. And yeah, so one choice is like to bake the texture on the mold by doing some chemical and everything, like the polishing things. But in that way, we don't have the flexibility of like adjust that. In the future, we have to like CNC the new mold.
You have to fix the mold. So instead of fixing the mold, we
do the coating.
Coating instead.
The coating. So normally this is how it works. We just send the sample, and we have like the painting shop in our office. We have a really small office, but we are like doing some airbrush. So we
will build a reference texture,
Yeah.
so to speak. We will paint an airbrush, and then we send it to the factory, and they will think of like a color formula with characteristic.
Yeah,
blah,
and
blah,
the setting send into the painting factory, and then they prepare the
It will
everything.
go down on the jig, and then the jig goes on
like a chain,
a line, and then it got
and they're
painted by the
spinning.
robots.
Yeah, so that's how we control the texture, and there's a lot of things that we have to finalize. This thing, I think we still have plenty of time, because when we kicks off the production, we think we're going to work on this really early, because we have to get the sample, paint it with the texture, and maybe like some variation, maybe 5 variation, and let's like the sweaty people decide which kind of texture is going to be the best.
Yeah.
So right now we aim around like Pulsar.
About like between like a Pulsar V2,
Pulsar V2
and a Razer.
And a Razer.
Yeah, around that.
So Razer is more on the rough side, chalky
chalky.
side, and the Pulsar is more like a thin rubber coating. So
something in between.
Something in between, yes.
Nice. So it's going to be a slightly different feel. I'm super excited. God, this is so exciting. It's everything we haven't talked about with regards to the mouse. I feel like we've hit a lot of the different points of the design and the choices.
Talking. I don't have a watch. I don't know.
Oh, I think this one is
hour and a half so far.
An hour and a half.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. It's
really fast, actually.
like this goes in like 8K or something. It's very fast.
Okay.
I love the mouse humor. Nice. On topic. Yeah, I think Yeah. Do you think that we've missed something, or is there anything else you want to talk about with regards to what you've done here? I mean, like building this modular mouse. I mean, one thing I can think of that we didn't mention is, what is everything that people are going to get in the kit? You've mentioned, for example, and you've shown sort of the case with all of the shapes. Is that something that people are going to get when they get the mouse, or what's going to come in the box? And also, are you going to provide some of the instructions? Because as you mentioned with the different skates that you'll be providing, okay, you guys mentioned how this will be more control, more speed, and obviously not everybody's going to know everything about how these different components might impact their experience. And so it looks like you're prepared. So let's check it out. What have you got there?
Okay.
Okay,
So
so
I think let's
let's
start
just
from the
walk
whole
through.
packaging.
Let's
The
walk through the
whole
whole
packaging.
packaging.
When you purchase Pathfinder, at least right now, you get the full box of Pathfinder. Okay, it's Orbital. You open it, and you get the card, the other card. Okay, you get
Dabbing
two
after.
packaging. One of them is called the core Pathfinder core. The other is like the exploration box. So this one, you sorry, ta-da, nothing. So you're going to get the mouse and also the 4K receiver out of the box, so you don't have to buy any extra 4K dongle. Beneath the flux, the packaging, we will include all the feed that we have and also the USB cable Type C.
With like a tilted head as
Yeah,
well. That's
yeah.
not in the preview
So,
unit.
yeah, not in the preview. We cannot make it like just 30 pieces. So it will be on the final. And then on the exploration box, like we even think about the dimension of the box. This is the minimal that we can get, the smallest we can get to pack everything, and the shipping cost is below one step of
Yeah,
the
although like
yeah.
like a economical shipping, and
And-
also you can put it under the monitor arm.
Yeah, like previously on the first version of Pathfinder, you might see on some info, but we have like the A4 protect size of the box shape. But when we use it at my home, my dads, and also our friend, it seemed to be like a really
It gets in the way.
spacious.
It gets in the way.
Yeah.
It takes too much space, and you
So-
want it next to you so
In-
you can try different shapes.
In this form, you can place just under your monitor, because I believe most of our customer will get the monitor arm anyway. They probably have two monitors. So yeah, because this will have to be sit on your desk at least, I think, based on my experience, 1 week, 2 weeks. I think it's easier to place it like there, like here,
Here,
and
and it's easier to just pick part that you
yeah.
want.
So
Yeah.
this is the whole experience.
Inside there's like 7 pieces for the right side, because the right is like where it dominates how
Yeah.
we grip the mouse. 2 spaces for the right side, so it adds 1.25
And
or
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah.
Unofficial is you can add 2, but unofficial,
Yeah.
with the structure can handle it. And then the left side, and then the 4 left side, and then 4 humps from like low.
Yeah.
This is like really
low profile, medium
lob beat by
profile.
Jake as well.
Oh yes.
Yeah, medium, high,
High,
and
and
then
right
right
hand.
hand. And then this two
Two
sets of M4M5.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you adding the spacer on the left part, you can imagine like if we add more shape and spacer, you cannot place the button quite easily. So that's why we add more M4 M5 buttons piece. So accommodate that. So you get everything that you see
And the
on the
spacers,
and the rear spacer. That's
and
it.
also file for you to design the plug, the universal plug that you can design, so you can add your own shape on top.
And also you get the mapping of how each plays, and also
the shapes we
at
have
the
names
back,
here.
I will send you the PDF file. We have some initial setup or guideline of how should you start using Pathfinder, because I think it's better to provide some guide about like
To
when
think of it like a shoe.
Yeah.
You start with like
Oh, yes.
the right size for you, and then you think about what you're going to use it for.
Yes.
Like, you're going to use it for
running,
football,
like
trailing. So it depends, and then that's where the shapes comes in.
Yeah. So yeah, this is what you get, and everything that we explained, you get all of them
Yes.
in the box.
Yes.
And
Awesome.
everything is in $189.
Yes.
As a whole.
Yeah.
Bargain. One thing actually I didn't mention is that you briefly touched on there is the dongle, and so on. This is definitely something that's not as as important in the sense of the experience of like how convenient it is or not. But yeah, where did you guys settle with regards to how you're like managing the dongle?
Like the 4K.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
so
the
here,
wireless dongle, um, like different companies have different ways they'll do it. Like you can, for example, like the most convenient way I think that happens now is you have the you plug into the back of your PC, and then if you have to charge the mouse, you can just like disconnect it very easily on your desk, and then plug it into your mouse so you can charge your mouse as you play in case it like just
yeah,
you run out of battery mid game.
Yeah, so I think we take a similar approach,
yeah.
but I think one thing we try to keep in mind, or no worries.
Mm.
But I think that one thing we try to keep in mind a lot is that for some people we see they have two mice on the table.
Yeah.
They would have like a mice that kind of like their reference mice, and
Oh yes,
yes, a lot of them are G Pro,
like comfort zone, like
like
a
a
comfort
comfort
zone
zone
mouse.
mice,
Got
a
three
comfort
right
zone
here
mice.
on my
You got
table.
three.
They're
That's
right
the
here.
G Pro.
I think
That's the G
there's a
Pro.
low amount on my screen too, on my
Okay.
table, to be honest.
Like people have two mice, and then that one is a reference or something like a comfort mice, or sometimes the mice they use to work with because people have
Oh
work,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So they have the gaming mice and then the work mice, and the thing is sometimes that the cable head doesn't fit
Oh,
into
okay.
like one or two of them, so it's very inconvenient. So I think
When we
why the 4K is like we use a standard thinking,
yeah,
but I think for this we try to make sure that other connectors it would connect in.
yeah.
So we don't
So
use like
it
fancy head or something.
even like the pocket in front of the mouse, this one like support most of the USB connector that any mouse company provide.
Yeah.
Even the Glorious that have the hook one. So
Yeah, you can like plug in
yeah,
the hook from Glorious into here. So it's simple. We just try to make it simple, I think, on this one to
Yeah.
make it seamless.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What happens if you lose the dongle?
We just have
to just buy a new
buy a new
buy a new one?
dongle
buy
and
a new dongle and
buy a new
repair.
dongle and repair.
Yeah.
Repair.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
think
it's easy repairing process. Okay, that's good to know.
Oh, yeah.
yes,
Uh,
That's good
yes.
to know.
I will send you some of the UI sample that we have right now. Even we have the functional UI is not so robust. So yeah, that's why you don't see it. But in the first page, you just click receiver or
Yeah,
mouse,
and then just repair.
and then another two page for the whole setting. So it will be
Yeah,
really clean
we
and
take
easy.
I think inspiration from like very basic settings,
Yeah.
just to make it like a bit more aesthetic looking.
Yeah,
But we
yeah,
want
I
it
think so.
simple and easy.
Nice. And yeah, I think that kind of I think that lands us in a place where I feel like we've covered pretty much everything, at least that I can think of, in terms of every aspect of the mouse that someone could want to know about. I think we've hit all of it. So I'd love to start talking about as we kind of begin to wrap things up. What's been your experience like with this process? What have been some surprises or some parts of the process that you've really enjoyed? Because I think you'd said like right before we went live that this has been 2 years in the making, which actually feels like pretty fast. Actually, I don't know if it feels
Yes.
fast, but it feels pretty quick to like build a product from scratch. So that's pretty impressive.
Thank you. But I think it has been fun and fulfilling, and it fills with like difficult decision. I think number one is, do we really make it modular? Will people like it? I think that's number
Yeah.
one.
Like the most difficult time that we face is like when we
And the crossroads,
yeah
whether we want to do it or not.
like
I mean, there are like I think two main crossroads.
yeah
I will let you.
like the first one is when we kind of know what kind of characteristic of the ultimate mouse would be, but at the time we don't have the final prototypes. We cannot prove our promise, and that is really tough on us. Like we send them the prototype, maybe like the crappy one, mechanism is not right, the shape is not well curated, the size is not even good. Like at that point, how do you validate your point? Like because you cannot prove everything. Yeah, at the time I think it's really tough on us, like how like we cannot prove because, and like the easiest proof is they're going to use our mouse, the prototype, as their main. If they do that, we definitely know like yeah, this is a really good idea, they really love it and they use it as a main mouse. But when we cannot prove it, it's just really tough on us, like whether we should go further or just stop the project right now. So but thankfully
I think the community,
The
games
community is
they are the ones who say we say okay, we're gonna put our life saving into this. So please be honest.
yeah. Please
If
be
you think
honest.
this is crappy, just tell us.
Yeah, yeah, just yeah.
But then people say go on, keep going.
on.
I think that is very important for us.
Still remember all the discussion that we have them is quite serious, and we ask them like a really deep question about whether we should go this. You can say the truth, and
Yeah.
yeah. And most of them are really supportive, and thank you for that.
Yeah, and I think we also like another hard decision is do we come up with like a just one shape or just the whole box? Will people just use like
Oh,
a
yeah.
few shapes in the box?
Yeah, yeah.
That is also the question we ask ourselves. But
Yeah. I would say like most of the things that have to be decided on this project is really tough one because no one really make this way. I know that there's a lot of modular mouse, but to make this
for FPS
for FPS,
and based on like finger position and
Yeah.
size and gripping,
Yeah.
I would say this is the first time.
yeah, this is the first time. Like we don't know.
We
Yeah.
don't know.
So everything along the way is really difficult. The only thing that's really, at least is, I feel so like it's what was fun because I have to play testing it every night actually. Like I play testing it, and I think when
Yes,
we
so
kind
we
of
paid him to play games.
oh yes, the most wonderful job in the world. So you were paid to play the game. So yeah. So, but yeah, it's been fun, and
Yeah, and yeah, we it's gonna we're gonna find out soon. I
we're
think.
gonna find out
Yeah,
soon
we're gonna
whether
find out soon.
people
People will see this as fun as the same way we do, and the people we talk to feel.
Mhm.
I think that's the ultimate test.
Yeah, I think so.
And I love how people are sort of empowered to find what's right for them, because I think there's a lot. There's actually, I mean, part of the content I made on my channel, a lot of it's been inspired from all the work I've done in the aiming community and sort of understanding, aiming as much as I possibly can. And there's still a lot of misconceptions about aiming, and one of them actually tends to be around grip a little bit, and it's something that people I think don't know how to think about a little bit. And it tends to be the case. I think most or the aiming coaches that they'll speak to, like Matty, for example, you ask him like, hey, what do you do with your grip? Because people feel like, oh, maybe, I should change my grip. And he's like, no, your grip is just like, put your hand on the mouse, there's your grip type of thing. And I think it's really speaks to the fact that this is a really individual experience. And so to have a way for everybody to be able to find comfort with just their grip. And yeah, you can learn how to aim better, and you can learn different techniques. And like you said, I think another great gem that we've had from the aiming community is they prove that the whole like muscle memory thing is a bit of like a misnomer. It's not really what we've kind of come to believe, and all of this paranoia of like, oh, you must stay on the same sensitivity or else you'll be inconsistent as an aimer. They've completely broken that myth, and there's so much evidence now from them about that. And that's really interesting, because as you were saying, different games you might actually want to use different styles, and that is extremely viable. And I think as more and more people start to understand that, as this knowledge kind of eventually permeates more and more through the FPS community, and aim trainers and aim training methodologies become more prominent, I think we're moving in that direction, and it just makes products like yours like so much more relevant, because people, the way people will aim train in the future and be good at aiming, they'll be able to do a lot more. They'll be able to play in a much wider range of sensitivities. And one of the things about that, and one of the things that I learned from aim training and my experience in doing it, even though I've been playing FPS games for 20 years, I was like, I understand that if I change my sensitivity and I start training more of an arm style, I can learn to use my arm. And that actually completely changes the types of mice that I can use, and all of these things. And that's a game changer, really is. I can see you want to jump in. So like,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
No, nothing. It's just he was going to also say about the same thing, that that's one of the realization that he has. I think one was
On the DPI setting.
on the DPI setting, and I think even on the shapes. I think one the story was the G502 that the sides is like almost ducked in.
Oh yes. I think that is also inspired me a lot when we
We
designed the
test with
shape.
a guy, and he has a G502, and he said he
And on the side is rubberized. So
Right.
so yeah, at the motor they're rubberized, but the place that his place his finger, the pinky finger, like he dug into the rubber. and like make a hole on that, and
Yes.
that's
So that inspired him to do the X, this one, for the guy, and actually he likes it.
yeah, like at the first X, that X shape that we have is more flat than this one. It's just like small humps between, and just give him some a little bit support on the right. But by doing that, he just actually like this is the
He plays better. He
I
understands
think
how
that's
he
one
grips
of the biggest
better.
milestone.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest milestone because, and also DPI as well, because I think you play Apex, you do
Yeah,
use different API. Beach, he used
also
Valorant, he used different DPI.
yeah.
So yeah, and also like some shapes, even this Batman shape, Beach hated.
At the beginning,
He hated it. He asked Win like, come in like,
why do
why
you
did you
even
make this
change?
shape? Why
Yeah,
is this shape for? And now he means it. And
yeah,
I'm sure eventually they change the meta. He changed again. People change again.
yeah.
I think that's the
Like
beauty of it.
like I think gaming is like really dynamics. Like it's
Hmm.
changed over time. Like the metas, the game that you play right now, we have deadlock, right? So yeah,
Yeah,
people might change the gripping style, the EDPI, everything.
yeah.
So
Like you said, the more we see ourselves as human and that we are not locked in some static
mhm.
settings all the time, the better gamer we can be because we are more responsive to the dynamism that surrounds us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to say, one other thing that I love that I just have to make a comment on too about how you guys have presented everything, the decisions that you've made, and sort of the philosophy behind it. It really feels like you guys are like very, very much catering to the community, and you're not like closing anything off. You're saying like, no, you guys can like 3D print your own like unique
Why not?
like shapes and stick it in and just talk to us, and then maybe we can like figure out ways to feature it or like formalize it in a different way so that you can just have your own like truly custom experience. And so like I feel like you're really consistent with your philosophy that you want people in the community to be able to make their best mouse. And I love that because that's where gaming started. If you like go all the way back to like the early 2000s, and Valve is, I think, maybe one of the only developers that still really like thinks this way. And you can see this in Deadlock. In Deadlock, you can still open the console, you can still make configs and auto execs. You can still like in the open beta, you can make custom maps. It's in open beta, you make custom maps. There's no like AAA titles where you can do that anymore. But that's like OG gaming stuff. That's like what the spirit of the community like wants to do. And so I love that you guys are really tapping into that, and I think it feels amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think,
Yeah.
We'll just keep it this way then.
yeah, we just keep it this
I-
way. I
yeah.
think,
I think for us, like most of the player just become our friends right now. So this is what our friend wants. Why don't just provide it,
We
right?
always tell to people we work with that okay, we are like born
Just
closer to each other. We would be playing CS LAN party.
yeah.
Okay, some of them are too young to
Yeah.
play CS LAN party.
We are really old.
We are
right now.
really old compared to them. Like Matty, he would not have played CS LAN party, but that's the feeling I think, and I think one of the thing we want to see is that maybe one day a guy come up with a shape and he can win in some tournament, and then the mouse companies they can also try to make that shapes. So it's not just us who make that shape,
Yeah.
but like a different shape, like shapes that has proven to work,
Mhm.
and it can become more mainstream and everybody get to play better peripherals.
Yeah.
I think that's what we want to see as well.
That's the world I want.
Yeah, we are not going to like patent the shape or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do patent
We patent the mechanism
We
to
patent
to
the
protect
mechanism.
ourselves.
To protect ourselves.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
but
gonna sue anyone, but
not the shapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the shapes is human.
yeah.
Oh, love it. Well, with that said, are there any other sort of final thoughts that you guys have? Obviously, it's super exciting because you've been doing this, like you've been building this for 2 years and finally got release day like right around the corner in the next like 24, 48 hours. Everything's going to happen for you guys. How's that feeling? Like where are you guys out?
I don't know. I don't feel anything because I haven't slept for.
But yeah, like I think this time today, yeah, I don't feel anything.
Yeah,
but,
because-
but the day before and two day before, I so anxious. I don't know.
I'm
so stressed.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Because is it are we right? Are we wrong? I mean
Yeah.
that's the biggest question,
like
right?
the eventually the proof is like whether
people
That
pay
is,
for it.
yeah.
People are willing to like do a pre-order for it,
And
I think
we
that's
before we launch the video, prepared sending to the sample to all the reviewer and
reviewers,
every,
people pros.
like we just come to the end that like this is the best that we can do.
Yeah, we let out everything that we can.
We take care of everything, even the foam in the packaging. I went to the
We
factory,
chose everything
like
ourselves.
even the feet, even the base, even the structure, even the firmware and everything. So I think everything else after
Yeah.
this is depends on
Depends on
you.
our message,
Yeah.
our message to the community, whether it resonates or not. And we are not looking for like final mouse number.
Yeah,
Basically, we're looking
we are
for
really
like
new brand.
we are really new brand. We are looking no more than like 5,000, let's say,
Yeah.
and we can do this really well.
Yes,
We believe
Just
that you
give
guys
us-
are out there.
give us one chance to make our first products. Yeah, after this, maybe we will raise higher standard, but this time, 3D print
yeah,
is everything. We do everything we can.
Yeah, we do everything we can. We hope that people can
Yeah.
will respond to this, and let's go together to new frontiers.
To new frontiers, yes.
Yes. Yeah, but
Amazing.
anxious. No sleep. Let's see.
No sleep.
If there's a console, it would be like no flip, like a no flip, but actually sleep. Yeah.
Yes. So yes, this is how I feel.
Yeah, this is how we feel. Thank you for letting it out.
Mhm.
For letting us having it let it out. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, really exciting.
Really excited.
I hope everyone coming to join this live section
Would consider supporting us
please consider support us
and make
making
Pathfinder
this
a
more.
reality. On some colors you might see some strange colors on the scroll wheel. So the base is black and white.
Yeah.
But if we get to do this, we'll probably let people
Maybe
vote
let you vote
on a
to get that
special color
special.
for the from all the options that you see
Yeah.
so far. You can choose.
It will be the magnesium alloy casting though, so the material is like a top notch.
Yeah, we'll use. There's some plans to use more magnesium alloy in the structure as well, but in the outside,
Yeah.
the ABS.
Yes.
Yeah. Really
So,
good ABS.
and this is like the first step of our brand, the Pathfinder. And as you can see from the logo, right? This one we have 3 elements.
The
on the
things that
logo.
orbit your digital life.
Yeah, and the 3 of them is mouse, keyboards,
Your
joy controllers. We hope we get a chance to
To make
innovate
the
more.
mouse first, let's
Yeah.
just make mouse,
Yeah.
and we will innovate more. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'm sure people are going to love it. I can't wait to see the response. I can't wait to try it out myself at some point. And wow, thank you so much, guys.
And thank you, Daniel, for letting us,
Thank you.
come on your show and discuss, and also,
Yes, yeah,
ask people to for support.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And shout outs to Minnie. He really made this all happen. He connected us. So shout outs to Minnie. He's amazing. And if you guys watching want to get details of the mouse and you aren't able to type Orbital Pathfinder into Google, which you can do, all the links that you need are going to be in the description. I'll also make sure that the socials, your guys' socials and so on, will be in there and everything as well. So if you guys are interested to find out more information, you can do that. All the info will be in the description. And Kevin and Don, it's been an absolute pleasure to just find out like what's going on here with your amazing project. I can't wait to see the response. Thank you so much, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.
To new frontiers.
To new frontiers.